Hey guys, it's Miss Adams, and we're going to be looking at the Unit 12 test review. Remember, this test is all over data analysis and statistics. So our first question is going to focus on a little bit of your 5-number summary, but really those measures essential tendencies. So your mean, median, mode, and your MAD. So this is all from 12.1 if you're looking back at the notes. But it says use the data table below to determine the measures essential tendency and dispersion. So the first thing that we could do is we could put all this data in order in our calculator, in order, and we could actually calculate these by hand. But guys, we have access to the calculator, so let's just use it. I'm going to go ahead and hit that data button. Hit it one more time and hit press forward to clear out any of your lists so far. And we're going to enter in the values 12, 9, 5, 9, 3, 1, 5, 5, and 5. So you should have 9 values entered in. From there, I'm going to hit second data. And I'm going to go to my one variable statistics. So you could just hit the number 1 or just hit enter where you highlight those that one variable statistics value. Then we're going to hit enter until we have calculated the values. You're going to see the n equals 9. That just stands for the number of terms we have here. And then it says this x bar. And so x bar stands for our mean. And our mean for this data set is 6. We can scroll down to get our minimum Q1 and then our median. So our median for this data set is 5. And our calculator is not going to give us our mode, but we can look here and see which number occurs most often in the data set. And just by looking, we see that our mode is 5. We now need to calculate our mean absolute deviation. And in order to do so, we need to go ahead and put our mean in the center. So we're trying to figure out the spread of our data. So the mean absolute deviation tells us approximately how far apart each data set is from each other. And the way that we do this is we find the distance from our mean to each data point. So I'm going to put in the values 12, 9, 5, 9, 3, 1, 5, 5, and 5 around my clock. And I'm just going to go ahead and calculate the distance from 6 to each of these data points. Remember that distance cannot be negative. So 6 to 5 is 1, 6 to 5 is 1 again, 6 to 1 is 5, 6 to 3 is 3, 6 to 9 is 3, 6 to 5 is 1, 6 to 9 is 3, and 6 to 12 is 6. From here, I'm going to add up all those distances. So 6 plus 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and divide by the total number of values in this data table, which was 9. And I can enter this into my calculator. By doing so, this is going to give me 24 divided by 9, which is approximately 2.67. So this is saying that our data points are about 2.67 units away from each other. That leads us to problem 2. So problem 2 says that the table below shows the hourly wages for the workers at the pharmacy down the street. And it is asking you to find the mean and the median from this data. So go back to your data table in your calculator. So you're going to hit data again, and clear out those values. Then I'm going to go ahead and put in 8.25, 7.5, 8.5, 7.8, 14.5, and 55. These are the values listed on this table. Once again, because we're only dealing with one value of data here, it doesn't matter what order we go in. Then we're going to go ahead and calculate the statistics for this. So this is going to be a one variable statistic. And we want that mean, which again is our x bar. So our mean in this case is 16.925. But since we're dealing with money, I would probably say that the mean, or the average wage here, is $16.93 an hour. And then if I'm looking at the median for my data, I'm going to scroll down to where it says median. And our median here says 8.375. Or we can say that our middle value for what is getting, so the middle wage here would be $8.38. Notice there is a major discrepancy between the mean and the median, and that's probably because we have an outlier. So if you're looking at that data, you've got most of these are ranging between $7.50 and $14.50, but we've got that pharmacist who is making $55 an hour. That is an upper outlier, which is going to mean that our mean is higher than our median or higher than our expected middle. All right, guys, our next data set. So the next problem is going to say use the data and box plots given. Calculate the boundaries for the outliers for both the male and female data. Then we're going to correctly fill in each blank according to the statistics you found. So we're going to be looking at a 5-number summary here. Luckily for you guys, we've already calculated the min, the max, the median, Q1, Q3, and your IQR. So all you're having to do is calculate your lower fences and upper fences for both male and females. So if I'm looking at my male data here, I know I'm going to find my Q1, which is 62, and I'm going to subtract 1.5 times the IQR, which is 16. So put that in the calculator just like that, 62 minus 1.5, open parentheses, 16, close parentheses. So my lower fence for my male data is 38. Then my upper fence, I'm going to use my Q3 value, which is 78, and I'm going to add to that 1.5 times 16, which is my IQR, so 75 plus 1.5, open parentheses, 16, close parentheses. That gives me an upper fence at 102. It has also asked us to do this for our female data. So the lower fence for the female data is at 50. So I'm going to take 50 and subtract 1.5 times the IQR for the female data, which is 30. So 50 minus 1.5 multiplied by 30 gives us a lower fence of 5 for the female data. Then if I'm looking at the upper fence for the female data, I got my Q3, which is 80, plus 1.5 times 30. So 80 plus 1.5, open parentheses, 30, close parentheses, will give me an upper fence for my female data at 125. So let's look at this. I'm going to go ahead and put these fences on my box plots down here. So my male data, I've got a lower fence at 38, and I've got an upper fence at 102, so somewhere like that. Then for my female data, I've got a lower fence way back at 5, and upper fence at 125. So it's asking me, do we have any outliers? And just looking at the minimums and maximums, our minimum for the males is 30. So this lies above the lower fence. That's not an outlier. The maximum for males is 90, and this lies below the upper fence, so no outliers there. So I'm going to put none. Now I'm going to look for outliers in the female data. Minimum for the female data is 36, so this is much higher than the lower fence. The maximum for the female data is 98, which is lower than the upper fence, so there's also no outliers for the female data. And guys, that completes the first page for the Unit 12 test review.